So if you don't know who you are, it's fine. It's better than somebody knowing who they are and not being happy. To not know who you are and be able to create a superhero is better than knowing who you are and being a waft. But don't allow other people to tell you who you are, because the truth is, if you surround yourself with enough people that tell you not to be yourself for long enough, eventually you'll forget who you are. And that is why most people don't know themselves.
Yo, what's up? My name is Bongi and welcome to the 2717 podcast. And we're here with a wonderful guest today, my friend from way back. We literally grew up together, had a business together. We even had our own podcast at a point. Yeah. And now I'm actually excited to have you as a guest on this one as well. And I'm sure you're going to be making content in the future, so watch out for that.
Of course.
Joshua Dietloff.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you. Yeah, no, like you said, man, we grew up together. You know, it's funny, eh? So my car's actually under repairs now. So AB came to fetch me. And so the house that I'm staying in at the moment, we've been living there for like the past couple of years, right? More than a decade now. And he walked in and we were just talking about like the feeling of nostalgia. Like, you know, like, geez, bro, you know, we just had a sleep over there like when we were in grade 6. You know what I mean? Or for example, we used to wrestle in the yard or like box, you know, all the small little memories, man. And it's like you look at it and you're like, we really grew up together. And like, you know, despite everything, we've gotten to the point that we've gotten to, you know, this guy's doing while he's doing his own podcast and whatnot. So well done to that, man. Well done to that.
And you know, it's a funny thing, like, I swear, I don't know how life happens. Like, you know, our friends always, like, especially after high school,
they branch out.
Yeah. And then for some reason, we've always been like, it's weird, because there was a time when we literally didn't talk for like time, bro. We didn't talk for time, and then we rekindled again with what was the name of the other podcast?
The Lifestyle Podcast.
The Lifestyle.
I remember that. You know what, bro? I logged into my YouTube now a month ago. Remember, I still asked you, bro, do you still have the password? You remember that? So basically, I logged in and I watched the video. And I'm gonna be honest with you. You guys just go check it out, bro. That podcast was really good. Like, even just for being amateurs at the time, you know, just starting off, that podcast was amazing. Like, just the topics that we discussed, you know what I mean? You guys should really go check it out, the Lifestyle Podcast. We should definitely like promote that page, bro. That was really nice.
But I think we were still young though, but we always had the vision.
Bro, the vision's always there.
We always had the vision that, like, you know, we're gonna do something that's, I don't know. I think we both always had like entrepreneurial mindset. We both, because even like in high school, we had crisscross. Like, bro, there's a lot of
dynamics.
Dynamics.
Yo!
We had so many things that we like did.
Yo.
That was like outside.
Tell the audience about this, man. So basically, we had a challenge in grade 6 where on school they had like this talent show. And we basically said, bro, if we must go against each other, we'll win. But we were like, I'll win, and he said, you'll win. So it was like, bro, I'll win you, I'll beat you. So I danced, basically. Remember that thing that I just back like that?
Because round vibes.
And then you still sang, what was that thing, When I Was Your Man, by Bruno Mars? And
practice.
You guys won't believe it. So he in his mind, it's like, he won. And in my mind, it's like, I won. Guess what happened? We both won.
Because they ended up having like a dance side and like a singing side. So
bro. And you know, even then there was haters, bro. What's his name came to me at the tuck shop that day. I still won. Bro, that time 100 rand voucher at the tuck shop was a lot. That was like a month's worth of food, guys.
You still remember? The fact that you remember the prize is crazy.
Jeez, bro. But what's his name came to me and he was like, yo, if I knew that was the talent, then I would have also competed. I would have beat you.
But I mean, that's the thing. This is kind of going like a bit into the topic. But for like a while now, my mother started running.
Oh, nice.
So she started running and stuff, and she was actually talking about, like, so obviously in running there's a pacemaker, especially at practice. There's a person that runs at the front. They're the pacemaker, whatever. So like there's groups of so everybody that runs sub 10, sub 7, different times, and then like say now that guy would be running slow, and then she would run a bit faster than him, right? Yeah. And then that guy said something like, they're the marathon runners. Yeah. They want to be. Now I'm like, bro, why is it like that? Like, it's literally the same thing with what you're saying now. Yeah. You achieve something. Yeah. Like, yes, bro.
No, it's true.
And then they're
It's
like,
true.
oh.
There's always going to be people that have something negative to say. There's always going to be people. And I figured out the people that have something negative to say are the people who feel insecure about what you're doing. Bro, that's why I started now a new habit where if somebody criticizes what I'm wearing, somebody says to me, you're wearing this. Like, for example, there was this outfit I wore in the weekend. This guy says to me, hey, brother, you dress like the pastor. And I was like, bro, what? You shut up, man. So now, you know what I mean? Or for example, there's this other outfit that I bro, it's one of my favorite fits, right? It's like a silky fit, beige. I wear that thing so much, but it's easy to wear, if that makes sense.
It's comfortable, yeah.
When I put it on, people in the beginning mocked me for it. And the same thing with like some of my other fits. And what I started doing is, bro, I wear that fits, bro. If you're gonna mock me about something that I'm wearing, I'm gonna wear it more often. Because it clearly tells me that I look good. Like if you feel compelled to say something about what I'm wearing, then clearly there must be something good about it. You know what I mean? Like people's not gonna hate on you if you're really now dressing in or wearing something that, like for example, pretty girls only call fat girls pretty. A pretty girl's never gonna call another pretty girl pretty. Do you understand what I mean? And it's that principle. It's like you're only gonna put somebody up if you know they're below you. But if somebody's on the same level or above, you're not going to really motivate them.
You want to put them down.
And that's the principle, see?
Bro, that's a crazy thing. Hey, man, that was crazy. But now I'm excited.
Me too, man.
I'm excited for this podcast, and I hope, it goes in a good direction. So, for those that don't know, obviously, as you said now about 3 times, we're all close friends.
Yeah.
Who is Joshua, number one, and what would you like people on the podcast to actually learn from, this conversation?
This conversation, well, look, I'm 22 years old, right? I'm an entrepreneur. I started my own business. I resigned from where I was working, right? Last year, December, November, I resigned. And how that ties in with your question is, what do I want people to take away from this? And who am I? Well, I'm just somebody with a big dream. I'm 22 years old. One day, I want to have a nice car and I want to have a nice house. And it's not necessarily the material factor. It's the fact of, if I'm getting into a car, whatever car it is, if I'm getting into a car, I want to get into a car that is in direct comparison to the work that I do. So it's almost like the harder you work, the more you achieve out of life. It's the truth. If you have a plan with the proper timing and the correct implementation, right, then you get what you want. So I'm somebody who wants to work hard and wants to accomplish great things. And I'm only 22 years old. I'm still learning. But with the knowledge that I have right now, if there's one thing that I can tell everybody to take away from this conversation, it is whatever dreams or whatever goals that you have, if it's massive, if it's a mountain that you're looking at, don't look at the mountain. Picture yourself there on the top of the mountain, but don't look at the mountain. Focus on where you are now and focus on how you're going to get there. And it doesn't matter what knocks you off in life, because there's going to be things that's going to knock you off. Some people have only really accomplished their dreams by the time they're 40, 50, 60 years old. I saw a bloke in the week, he was driving a flipping expensive Maserati. But it's an old guy, grey hair, white hair, actually. And to be honest, I don't want to be there. I don't want to be at that point where when I'm only 60 or 70 years old and I can get a nice car. You know what I mean? So it's like, my goal is to be somewhere. And it doesn't matter what happens or how many things knocks me off or deters me from that path. I'm going to continue to focus on the goal. And in life, there's going to be a lot of things. You're going to have friends. You're going to have family. You're going to have jobs, employers who's going to really try and put you down. But the most important thing to remember is that people are only going to put you down when you intimidate their true potential. They don't want you to accomplish your true potential because you're most likely going to be better than them. And that's the truth. You're going to be better than them. So take away from this conversation that whatever it is you want to accomplish, go for it. Go for it, bro. It doesn't matter how big it is. Go for it. As a matter of fact, if it's small, if you feel it's small, and if you think about where you want to be one day, you need to get goosebumps. Like, you literally need to get goosebumps. You need to get butterflies in your stomach when you think about where you want to be one day, because it needs to be so far from who you are right now. Because life is about adaptability, and you need to consistently change, you need to consistently grow, and you need to consistently adapt. And the more you adapt, the higher the heights are that you will achieve. So focus, stay focused, keep going, break through the barrier and just get to where you want to be. And once you accomplish that goal, or smaller goals in increments leading to that big goal, always set new goals, always change, always grow, always build yourself up and become a better person. And you're going to fall, you're going to fail, you're going to go through certain things in life that's really going to knock you off that path. But it doesn't matter, just continue to grow.
Definitely. But it's so interesting that you speak about, these things with such conviction. Is there someone like in your life that instilled these things into you, or was it something that you just always had?
So yes, it's not necessarily something, it is something that I've always had, but it's not necessarily something that I nurtured. So essentially, I'll never forget that day. I was driving with this one guy, and I started like a small little gardening business. I was 12 years old, right? And I started a small little gardening business where I would like clean people's yards, man, cut their grass, pick out their weeds and things like that. And I did a job for this guy, and I did a really good job. And he drove and he said to me, my boy, you're going to get very far in life. As simple as that statement sounds, right? Imagine you're 12 years old and somebody says to you, you're going to get very far in life. That is going to motivate you to a certain extent. You're going to feel some sort of, how far are you talking about? You know what I mean? And ever since then, I remember he gave me 5 tires, but it was truck tires. And at the time, truck tires was worth a lot of money. Now, one truck tire at the time was worth about 1,002, right? I posted it for 300 Rand, and I sold all those truck tires within a week, and I got to buy my first. At the time, I grew up in a household where I was not allowed to have a phone. Right? So I grew up in a household where, kids weren't supposed to have phones. And I took that money and I went to go buy myself my very first phone, my first touchscreen phone. I bought myself. And just that feeling, it's just that feeling, like that feeling of, I really bought my own phone. Like, brother, amount of numbers I can get now. Nah, let's go,
So you literally...
So that small little act instilled in me a sense of, I want to be great. Like, I want to be great, and I want to do great things, and I want to accomplish great things with my life, and I want to have a story to tell. You know what I mean? I want to have a story, and I want to be someone. I don't just want to... we're all going to die, and we're all going to be forgotten about, but I want to remain as long as I can remain, if that makes sense.
And I have a lasting impact,
bro, on the world. I'm telling you, man.
That's interesting. So you alluded to family. How is your relationship with your family? And obviously your dad knows about the businesses that you have. And,
of course.
How's that relationship? Because obviously once you got that phone, it was like, whoa. You know what I mean? I don't know. You tell me.
So essentially, when it came to business, right? Look, the truth is, right? If God was on earth, we'd probably fight with him. That's just the truth, right? Because as human beings, we tend to, everybody around us, we conflict many a times. And the truth is, if you look at somebody's face long enough, you guys are going to start to butt heads, right? That's just the point. It's the truth. So in terms of my relationship with my family, right? It's like with any other family. We have our tiffs, we have our wars, and we have our things where we disagree, but we're still a family. Because when things really get tough and nobody's there, we have each other. So that essentially, that's all that matters. So with regards to the businesses, bro, my dad supports me, my mom supports me, my sister supports me. They support me. They fully support me. Obviously, we tough and things like that, but they support me, and we support each other. If they have dreams, they have goals, things that they want to accomplish, we support each other. You know what I mean? So, like, for example, when I did the gardening thing, then my dad supported me. You know what I mean? He took me to where I needed to be, and he picked me up and he brought me back. It's those small little things that I see that as support. For example, like now, I had a job in Claremont, right? Now I'm not mobile, so I don't have my car. And my dad helped me by delivering the podium. He helped me carry it, everything, dropped the podium off, and then we went to go fetch it again, brought it back, made a few modifications, took it back, fixed it up. But he was helping me. He was the one who took me there, brought me back, and it wasn't around the corner. It was a 45 minutes drive to get the podium to where it needed to be. You understand what I mean? And one of the biggest things is, like, I'm to be honest, my dad, like, instills in me a lot of motivational mindset-based matters, in the sense that, for example, I said to him, one of the problems I'm sitting with is, and he stopped me right there. He said, Joshua, don't say that. Don't say one of the problems I'm facing. He said, if you as a human being, as people, the truth is we don't want to look at problems. I don't want to come to you and say this is the problem. You know what I mean? I either want to come to you with a solution, or I want to come to you as it's a challenge. People want challenges. If I tell you the challenge is X, Y, Z, immediately you're going to think I can do it, because it's a challenge, and a challenge is something that we all feel like we can accomplish. And therefore my dad said to me, don't ever say the problem is, say the challenge is. Because it's just that simple change in words that changes your entire perception of what's going on.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean? So it's small things like that really makes a difference. And another thing that my dad also told me is, Joshua, chase your dreams and do whatever it can to make your dreams come true. Because if you don't chase your dreams, and if you don't have any dreams or goals, then somebody else is going to use you to make their goals and dreams come true. So it's small things like that I keep in the back of my mind, that motivates me when I'm working in the workshop and it's past 9 at night and I'm sitting and I'm sending emails or sending SMSs or making phone calls or whatever it is, or sitting and drafting and things like that, and I genuinely don't feel like working anymore because I was up since 6 o'clock busy working. I think of those things and I'm like, if I work hard enough now, then one day I won't have to work so hard anymore, if that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. That makes so much sense. And For me, obviously, it's quite motivating and quite inspiring when I see your journey and where you, the type of person that you are. You're very versatile. You've always had like multiple talents. We spoke about the dancing. We spoke about you at a point being a salesperson, and obviously we'll talk about that later on.
Yeah.
What was your experience in learning and specifically in school? Like what was your experience there? Because obviously you are someone that reads a lot of books. Was this something that's always been there, or was it something that kind of nurtured afterwards?
So the thing is, I've always been the type of person to question the norms. I've always been the type of person to challenge the norms and try to understand it. So when it came to school specifically, I always spoke up. And if a teacher had to tell us to learn something, I would kind of question as to why. Because if you're going to tell me to learn something that I feel is completely irrelevant to where I want to be or what I want to accomplish, I'm going to question it. You know what I mean? Now, with that said, I had a lot of like tiffs with teachers, especially like, I remember primary school was bad. Like primary school, for example, I was one of those kids that never did his homework, right? So I literally had a stack as thick as this, right, with just detention slips, bro. And it was detention. Till this day, I'll maintain it was detention for stupid things, man. Detention because, for example, I forgot my book at home, or detention because I didn't do my homework. You know what I mean? And it's almost like sending a kid to prison at night because of something stupid, like you forgot your license at home. Do you understand what I mean? Like, I can understand it's deserving of a punishment, but, bro, to this day, I feel like school is one of those places where they exaggerate certain things that doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the best schooling system is the one where free will is really installed. If you don't want to learn, if you don't want to be here, then go home. That works. Because now a kid knows that no one cares about them. But if you're going to, like, portray that you care about kids and that you want kids to grow, but then if they don't do the smallest thing, you punish them, what message are you really instilling in them?
Actually, yeah.
Now, one of the things that I sat up with was in grade 5. I remember I was put out. In grade 5, I was in the corridor for 6 months. For those of you who was in my class knows about this. For 6 months, I was in the corridor. Because what happened was I left an indemnity form at home. But it was obviously other things leading up to.
Oh, okay.
And I left an indemnity form at home. And I'll never forget this because it's small things like that that really, like, bro, those things hardened me, bro. Like, for 6 months, I never had the opportunity to sit in class and listen to the lectures or the lessons that was being given. Teachers would come, teach X, Y, and Z, and then I would be sitting in the corridor. And then at the end of the day, I would have to sit for 30 minutes extra so that I can get my homework. And then I would be like, bro, I'm not going to do this homework, bro. And then I would get detention the next day. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So basically, was one of the teachers that I had the most tiffs with. I think he's dead today, but that's not the point.
Nah, I'll bleep out the name. Rather.
Yeah.
Just for respect, we'll bleep out the name, yeah.
So he was one of the individuals who bro, I didn't like that teacher. So basically, he used to bully certain kids. And one thing that always stood out to me was, and he hated this, I remember he kicked me out of the class for this one day because I told him, you're nice to the girls, but you're very rude to the boys. You would hit the boys and things like that, but then the girls, you would almost like pamper them. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And that was the thing. So one day I remember I still told him, I called him a pervert or something like that, and then he kicked me out of the class. Because how can you come, you just hit the boy, but then you come and then you tell a girl, oh, your hair's a bit untidy, and you put it behind the ear. So now immediately doing something like that, and it's like, bro, what is going on here? You know what I mean? If girls don't do their homework, then it's like, it's okay, don't worry about it. But if a boy doesn't do his homework, you get 8 points for detention. Oof. If you're a kid, listen, if you're a kid, a 10 rand matters. So everything that is big now in the world that you think didn't really matter when you're in school, that mattered, eh? That shit mattered. So when teachers treated kids in certain ways, or gave kids certain punishment for things that really didn't matter, it mattered back then.
It matters back then.
So
because literally that conversation that you had with the guy that you did his garden, it built you and it planted a seed.
It planted a seed. Do you understand what I mean? So now you get this teacher now that comes. I remember one day he took me and he threw me out of the class. But all these things aside, right? All these things aside, it was small things like that caused me to just hate school. Because in my mind, it was always that teachers are there to build a generation. So if they're there to build a generation, why are they breaking down so many kids? For being themselves. One thing I've noticed about school is that the kids who conform were always the kids who were pampered and things like that. But the kids who question things, those were the kids with the real potential. Those are the kids with the real potential. The kids that comes to school and says, why must I do this? To build and understand. You must remember, as a kid, you're not questioning, why must I do this? to find fault. You're questioning, why must I do this? To find understanding. And many teachers looked at it as a negative thing when it's a good thing. If I'm a kid and I'm questioning something, you should feed that question, because that is an ability to think out of the box. As a matter of fact,
critical thinking. Yeah.
You understand? That's critical thinking. That's not only thinking out of the box. That's not being boxed up in the first place. There is no box to begin with. So if you're going to give me something and I'm going to question it, you're supposed to feed that knowledge, because that's potential. If I come to you and I tell you, if I tell you jump how high, and you just tell me, okay, and you jump, what does that make you? It makes you a monkey. It makes you a puppet. Do you understand the context?
Yeah.
And the same thing with school. If I come to you, if a teacher comes to me and says, do this, and I say, why? The principle can be, why not? But still, I want to know why. Because this doesn't apply to me. Like, this literally doesn't apply to me. And that was the thing that I hated. So my relationship with school, bro, to be honest with you, I never liked it, because I feel like school is very conformity based, in a sense that you need to listen. If you don't listen, then you will, you need to conform. If you don't conform, then you must get out. You know what I mean? But instead of saying get out, they punish you for every little thing. And one of the biggest things for me on school was that teachers come to, like, a lot of teachers would come to school with, like, their personal problems. So they would come there with their personal household issues, marital issues, family issues, friendly issues, and they would take it out on the kids in the classes. How? Small things. Like, for example, if I'm a kid in a class and I do something that you maybe don't like, you're not going to just be like, listen, don't do that, and try to build an understanding, because
it goes,
do you understand what if I give you a computer, right? I'm going to make an example. If I give you a computer with no programming, what must you do? You must program that computer. So a kid is the same. If I come to you with a kid, that kid's not perfect. The human brain only develops when you're 25. So, fully develops when you're 25.
Yeah.
So, a kid is somebody that not needs to be programmed in that sense, but you need to instill certain values, morals, and
it needs to be guided.
You need to guide it. You understand what I mean? But teachers, like, think kids come to school and they just know everything. You don't know everything.
Or they blame it on the parents. But
you understand what I mean? Bro, I've seen parents, sorry to cut you off there, but I've seen parents that teaches their kids the most morally justified things, and then they'll go to school and forget about everything. Because the teachers will then break this kid down, or the teachers will bullseye this kid as somebody who does X, Y, and Z. So this kid in his mind, it's why must I prove to you and what must I prove to you? Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, it's a very iffy topic, man, because I do agree with what you're saying. The schooling system needs to, have something where they think outside the box, because it's been the same for so long and it hasn't changed. But if you look at society as a whole, it has changed. There's literally jobs that never existed that exist now, and with now AI and with technology consistently developing, I do think it's something that needs to develop. And I do think they need to do some research on this, because I've noticed with a lot of people that I speak to that have like entrepreneurial mindset or that are doing something different with their lives. Yeah. In high school and in school, they didn't necessarily, conform to that system. Yeah. The people that did really well in high school became, lawyers and doctors, and all good for them. Yeah. But the people that actually, for instance, the entrepreneurs of the world, they did something different. Why do you think that is, though? That, they call it C students, but, up and down between B and C, C students, why do they become the entrepreneurs and the needle movers of the world?
Well, because basically, why do entrepreneurs become the ones who tend to be more successful? Because the thing is,
I'm saying, why do C students specifically?
C students specifically.
Yeah, like, because what I mean by C student, I put it under a box, right?
Yeah.
I say this because students that don't necessarily do well in school, but they just get by.
Oh, yes. So, basically, to answer your question as to why the C students tend to be more successful in that sense, right, is because most kids, let me put it like this, right? You're allowed to drink at what age? When you're 18, right?
In South Africa, yeah.
You get your license at what age? When you're 18.
18, yeah.
Right? The age of consent is what? 17, right?
16.
So, 16.
And then there's statutory, but yeah, go on.
You know what I mean? But with those things said, right? You in grade 9 and they come to you and they tell you, listen, what career path do you want to choose for the rest of your life? Somebody who is still trying to, in a sense, find themselves. You must remember, not all kids are the same, but when we're referring to those students, we're referring to the greater majority right now. And it has been reported that 34%, right? 56% of students choose their career paths in grade 9 and then obviously go on to pursue it. But only 36% of those concrete that career path. And out of 36% of those, only 4% finds work. Do you understand what I mean? So with that said, you must remember, they tell you that you can make money and so on and so forth if you study it, so all those different things. But the truth is, the only reason why the amount of money that students who study makes is so high is because of the fact that doctors, lawyers, and so on pushes the average up. They push the average up. You understand? But if you take other students who study other matters, man, smaller things,
and
all the small little things like plumbers and electricians and things like that, those guys are not earning a lot. Do you understand what I mean? Those guys, and must remember, we're referring to the greater majority right now. Those guys are not earning a lot of money. So the actual amount of money that people are earning after school is only so much. And the truth is that when they're in the system, they're stuck in the system. You understand what I mean? People spend 3, 4, 5 years studying just to never find work. And also, it's also been reported that lower than 10% of people that study, find work, doesn't even use their degrees. They don't even use their degrees. They don't even use what they studied when they're getting work. And that is why C students become successful. Because, for example, I'm a C student and I'm in a market, right? I get to pick anything. If I want to, I don't have a degree behind me. I don't study 4 years. I can go and get into AI. And I can spend the next 7 years getting into AI and build my knowledge on AI. Do you understand what I mean?
And only AI.
And only AI.
And not the other parts and that our school is when they're adding the courses.
Do you see what I mean? So with that said, it's like a C student can go into a market and look at the best opportunity. You know what I mean? But if you're coming and you're starting 10, 15 years of your life away, right? By the time you're done studying, you're 35, 40 years old. You're stuck in the system, bro. Most people, obviously. But that is why C students look at the world as one big oyster, as one big opportunity to become successful, because they're not tied down by anything. And also, it's mainly the ability to question things. It's the ability to say, but why must I do this if I can do that? You know what I mean? How many times weren't you on school and then on a test, there are certain questions that you enjoy? Do you understand what I mean? So the same thing is with life. There are certain things that as a C student you enjoy, that you pursue, and then you get good at it, and then you make money from it. But now, because you're not tied down by anything, you get to branch out into different things and make a success of it. Because they just scrape by in school, and those are typically the kids who never studied. Those are the kids who scrape by, who got 50, 60% without even having to study. You know what I mean? So they have potential. They have the potential to learn and to grow. But they take that potential and then they focus that potential on what actually matters. You know what I mean? School is based on old school systems. A lot of old school systems. Like you said, AI and things like that. Why are they not introducing these things into schools? Why are they not? Why are they not introducing subjects into school that is up to date with the times? CAT is not up to date with the times, Excel and those things. But I can go on YouTube now and search how do I do this on a spreadsheet, and then it will tell me exactly how to do it. And then I don't need a degree. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
most of the knowledge is free as well.
Information is a commodity. You can literally go on your phone right now and Google anything. Anything. You can learn anything now if you just go on your phone. Do you see what I mean?
That's so crazy. Like, there is a lot of pressure, and the thing is, I don't only want to talk from our perspective. I do also want to talk from someone who, excuse me. I do also want to talk from someone who, for instance, is in the system and feels that pressure. Why do you think, and obviously you that didn't go to university.
Yeah.
For those that didn't go to university, you didn't pursue college or anything like that. Why do people feel that pressure to go to university or to go to college? And how did you press against that? Or why did you press against that?
Because it's college. Why did I press against that? And why do people also tend to go into that direction or feel pressure to go into that direction? It's cultural based, right? Most families have been raised, most parents, especially today's parents, have been raised to believe that the only way to succeed is to study. So essentially what happens is, from the moment that kid is able to think and talk, the parent says, what are you going to study?
What do you want to become? What do you want to do? Who do you want to be? Do you know what I mean? And now the kid goes to school, right? And then this kid is only grade 5, grade 6, and the parents are already saying, what do you want to study? Who do you want to become? All those different things. Forgetting that this kid is only being exposed to the world right now. And now the kid gets to grade 8, grade 9, and the kid feels pressure to study because his parents said, if you don't study, you're never going to become nothing. So now they say, okay, I'm going to study this. I'm going to study engineering. I'm going to study art. I'm going to study this. I'm going to study that. Now there are people who make a success of studying. Don't get me wrong. There are a lot of people who make a success of studying. No doubt about it. It's a system that has been proven to work if you make the most of it. But the thing is, the truth is, most people don't want to really go study. They just go study because their parents have raised them, their family, their friends. Imagine you're in a group of friends now, and everyone in that friend group is studying. Is going to study whatever they want to study. You're going to feel that pressure. You're going to say to yourself, bro, I need to go study, bro. Otherwise, who am I? You know what I mean? And the way the education system is structured, it doesn't force or pressure, it nudges. So it nudges students to want to go study. It nudges students. That's why so many people now, the depression rate is so high, because so many people are forced to go study things and enter into careers and pursue certain careers that their passions don't really align with, that they don't really align with. And then they find themselves in these situations where they live unhappy, miserable lives because they went to go study, for example, engineering, but this brother really just wants to be an actor. But he spent his whole life studying engineering. He spent so much money studying engineering. It's like, I invested so much time and effort into this.
Down as well,
and I don't want to disappoint my family and my friends. So I must live this life. I must be miserable. And the truth is, like, people, you do wake up at some days and say, I'm looking forward to today. You know what I mean? But are you really doing what you want to do? Are you really doing what you want to do? Are you really chasing your dream, or are you chasing someone else's dream? You know what I mean? Like, what are you really doing? And that ties in with your question beautifully of, why do so many people feel pressure to study? It's how everything is structured around you. It's almost like you don't even realize it, but you're being manipulated into believing that that's the only way out. That's the only way to win, when it's not.
So I would say my thinking behind that as well is, I don't want it to seem like we condemning school.
No, not at all.
Trying to say like,
not at all.
But I'm just thinking.
Yeah.
You know, there's also those people. You know.
Yeah.
If you haven't found yet what you want to do, gain knowledge. I definitely think you should gain knowledge with it by practically going into, exploring different things.
Yeah.
Like what I did, I also, like in the beginning, I felt a lot of pressure to study because, as you said, people always ask you, where are you going to study? What are you going to do?
Yeah.
And I literally, in my grade 11 and grade 12 year, I applied for anything and everything. I applied at, different institution, doesn't matter. And I actually got in.
Yeah.
Right? And then in my first year, there was COVID as well. In 2020, okay, I can't give my age away.
Yeah.
But you gave your age away, but it doesn't matter. And I actually dropped out. Dropped out, and then for a year, I took a break from studying, and I told my mom, listen, because obviously she, as a parent, and I understand her.
Yeah.
You do want your kids to have that security.
Yeah, no, of course.
Because let's be honest, studying and having something behind your name is, in a sense, some sort of insecurity.
Yes,
or
of course.
A security, sorry. Source of security.
True.
But I definitely I felt like that year gave me time to find myself.
Oh yeah.
And that's kind of the advice that I would give for people. Find yourself before you go into anything.
Yeah.
In that sense. Because remember, we only have one life, guys. We only have one life. Like, there's so many people that wake up and they say, I don't feel like going to work. I have to go to work again. This is, and just to get money, and then you end up being in debt, and then it just becomes a little vicious cycle of one decision that made your whole life. So, to all the people that are like the younger community that's watching us, what advice should you give them to find themselves? Because you're also a person that I think you had quite a few ventures.
Of course.
In the past, you know,
Yeah.
you alluded to a few, and leading towards what you're doing now. What advice would you give someone to find themselves?
What advice I would give to someone to find themselves? Well, if you don't know who you are, it's fine. Look at it as, look at it as a blank slate, and look at it as an opportunity to create whoever you want to be. So if you don't know who you are, it's fine. It's better than somebody knowing who they are and not being happy. To not know who you are and be able to create a superhero is better than knowing you are and being a waft. Do you understand what I mean? So, like, for example, it's all about perception. Life's all about perspective. You know what I mean? So, who are you? Do you know who you are? Who do you want to be? Who do you want to become? And what am I going to start doing today to become that person? And if you can't find yourself, don't be hard on yourself. Don't hate yourself because everyone else is hating on you. You know, don't discourage yourself because everyone else is discouraging you. Don't break yourself down because everyone else is breaking you down. Because if anything must happen, 90% of the time you'll be alone. You'll be alone. And when you lay in bed at night, most of the time you're laying with your thoughts. You're laying with your thoughts. You know what I mean? You telling yourself things. What are you telling yourself? You know what I mean? So life is. I'm not a philosopher, but I read a lot of philosophical books. And one of the things that I've read that I've applied that really works in that sense, or that really helped shift my perspective, is that it's fine if you don't know who you are. That's perfectly fine. Just keep going. Like you said, keep trying out different ventures. If you try something and you genuinely enjoyed it, write it down. If you spoke to someone about something and you really enjoyed it, write it down. If people treat you in a certain way, don't be afraid to stand up for yourself. If you feel like saying something or speaking your mind, say it, speak it, be it. You know what I mean? But don't allow other people to tell you who you are, because the truth is, if you surround yourself with enough people that tell you not to be yourself for long enough, eventually you'll forget who you are. And that is why most people don't know themselves. If you look at a kid, bro, a kid is excited about everything.
Literally.
A kid does a ball and a kissy and he's like, look here, bro, look what I'm doing. And the bra's flipping around there and it's like, but they're enjoying it because it's at a point in its life where, the kid is at a point in its life where nothing really matters. Like what you tell me, I don't care. I'm a kid. So it's almost like the saying goes, have the ambition of a kid and the mindset of a kid, but the spirit of an adult, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So if you don't know who you are, it's fine. Just keep going. Keep learning, keep experimenting, and most importantly, don't be afraid. Because most people know who they are, they're just afraid to be themselves. That's all.
Man. Yeah, I definitely think, someone will take that advice. So now just to also kind of go on from where we were at school, you also joined the gym, right? You were one of the first people that I don't want to give you the credit. I don't want to give you the credit.
No, I don't mean to hype myself up, but I've gotten a lot of people into the gym. When I started training, I've gotten a lot of people into training.
How did that shape and influence you?
Going to the gym. So going to the gym is one of those things where, even in the beginning, so I had a crush on this girl in grade 7, right? I'm just going to tell you a bit of a story. So I had a crush on this girl in grade 7, you know who you are, but that's not the point.
Tashi?
Bro, that kid rejected me in front of the whole school, literally. But so in primary school, everyone knew me. Everyone knew Josh, right? And I had a crush on this girl, right? And basically, I wanted to show off my six-pack. So I started small, man. I started watching YouTube videos and things like that, where I used to train, bro. I used to train, I used to do crunches. And I did it for 2 months, 3 months, no six-pack. I was so angry. But anyway, and after that, I said to myself, nah, I'm never going to put myself in that situation again. And then I joined the gym. And I started training, bro. I started training in the morning. I would train for 2 hours.
Wait, did you actually try to show your six-pack?
Yeah, bro, but I never had a six-pack.
Oh, okay.
I had it, but it was like a 4-pack.
Okay.
But I You know what I mean?
You were lean.
I was lean, yeah.
Yeah.
But I did the crunches, I did the mountain climbers, I did everything that I was supposed to do, and it never came through. But then I said to myself, I'm never going to put myself in that situation again. And I developed a slight insecurity on my body, you know what I mean? And then I joined the gym. I said to myself, I'm joining the gym now. And I started training in the morning 2 hours, in the evening 2 hours. Every day I would train. Monday through to Sunday, bro, I would train every single day. And I started gaining mass, started gaining size. And it built my character. It really built my character. And also one of the biggest things that I learned through gymming was how to network and talk to people. Because in the gym, it starts so small, man. When you go to the gym and you go to someone and you say, how many sets do you have left? What I've learned from that is when you engage in an encounter with others, right, you need to have a purpose, a goal of that conversation. What is your goal in that conversation? You know what I mean? And in the gym, it's small. How many sets do you have left? Or, for example, listen, do you want to train with me next weekend? You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like a community. The gym is like one small community where you guys have something in common. And having that one thing in common really allows you to connect with people. And how you can apply that in life is, if you're talking to somebody else and you know you guys have one thing in common, use that as your vice to build a connection and then take things from there. You know what I mean? Whether it's business, whether it's friendship, whether it's whatever it is, you know, it's a girl that you're talking to. That's why, like, that thing of we have something in common always works, because people want to connect to other people that they can relate to. And how do you relate? Do you understand? And that is how the gym really built my character. It's like how to talk to people, you know, building strength, even my mindset. It's like, do you know how many times, for example, I would be lifting, and then I would say to myself, nah, man, I'm done now, man. But then I would keep going, and I say, nah, I'm done now, and I would keep going, and I'm done now. But after putting myself through that pain for like 5 minutes, right, when I'm done, and after a month, I look in the mirror and I'm like, yeah, it was worth it.
That pump,
bro, it's like, it's worth it.
She was.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so that's like that's like one of the things that I also found cool, because also when you started gymming, your appearance changed. Is there like did people start treating you differently once you started getting bigger? Because it definitely happened with me in
I can imagine, bro. You look big now. Yes, sir.
It didn't happen with me because
no, but you look good though, bro. You really look good, man. You've come far with the training and things like that, and especially your level of consistency in the gym, right? Okay. Bro, you really, like, you can inspire a lot of people. Like, really, you can inspire a lot of people, like, when it comes to their training, when it comes to their goals and things like that, because you are consistent in something that a lot of people struggle with. You know what I mean? And you can actually, that mindset that you have, that mindset that you adopted, you should really try teaching that to other people, because, bro, you can build a nation with that mindset, bro. So, yeah.
Or tribe. A tribe, as we call it. So that's what we're trying to do with this podcast, and that's why we also try to, you know, bring people like you as well to, you know, share their journey and share, you know, their knowledge as well. So that's definitely, like, you know?
Yeah.
So now, you at a point worked at Zone Fitness.
Yeah, bro.
Speaking of the gym.
Yeah.
How did that happen, bro?
So essentially I knew somebody that knew I was good at sales, and Zone Fitness is always looking for staff, right? After working there, I figured out why, but that's not the point. So
can we share that on camera?
No, so basically I was working at Zone Fitness. Somebody that knew me and knew that sales was always been my passion, said to me, Joshua, they're looking for work. So can you send your CV through? And I sent it through, and yeah, they called me, got me in for an interview. I went, and then I went back for a second interview, and then the lady messaged me. She said to me, listen, we're going to put you on a month probation. So if you do good this month, then obviously we're going to continue. And then I did great that month, and after that, it kind of just took flight. Yeah.
And then what are the ins and outs? What are things that maybe people don't know about, you know, the back end of, okay, if it's too bad, we'll take out the name.
No, it's not bad. It's just... So the thing with me is the reason why I left Zone Fitness was due to the, how do I say, double standards, in my opinion. You know, there was like a lot of favoritism and things like that, and I didn't like that. Because if you, as for example, if you're someone in a top position, right, and you have some sort of favoritism towards other individuals when others are working just as hard, then why am I there in the first place? Because I'm not working here. Keep in mind, I'm not saying I'm working there to have my best. That's not what I'm saying. But if I genuinely try my best and I actually get results, if I do or put in the work and the results actually appear, I deserve some sort of credit. I deserve some sort of credit. Like if I'm working late every day for flipping a month, and I bring good results, and then you as a manager come to me and you tell me, yeah, you did something good, so now what now? Do you expect a round of applause? Bro, then you can, bro, I don't need that. I'm very sorry. And then also another thing that I didn't like is like constantly being, so one of the things is I was always the type of person, even on school, with Zone Fitness as well, I was the type of person who, if you're going to do something to me, I don't care if you're the manager. I'm going to tell you that what you're doing is it's messed up, bro. Don't do that. I don't like it. And if you have a problem with it, then you can fly a kite. And I mean that as disrespectfully as possible. No, but seriously though, like, let me put it like this. You're a human being, not you now, but you're a human being just as much as I am, right? And you bleed and you breathe air. Therefore, you make mistakes, right? Now, where that ties in is like, for example, bro, if you telling me, this is why a lot of people as Zone Fitness don't last, is because if I'm coming there to write sales, right? If I'm coming there to write sales, how I write my sales doesn't matter. If I'm coming there and I'm writing and I'm hitting budget, right? If I'm making budget and clapping and sticking, bro, I'm making my budget every month, right? Then don't tell me how to write my sales. You hired me to write sales. So then don't tell me that you must write sales and do this. Then you're just irritating me, man. Because a company, what does a company want? A company wants to make money.
Profits,
a business wants profits. You want to see money's being made. That's it. You want to see money's being made. So what really irritated me was the fact that as a sales consultant at the time, I was writing my sales, bro. Like I was writing my sales. I was doing good. My bad, I'm talking loud.
No, it's fine.
And
I'll just adjust, yeah.
I'm writing my sales. I'm doing what I need to do. So now you coming to me with all this other stuff that doesn't matter. And when I ask you, does this matter? You tell me it might not matter, but you must still do it because that's what management wants. For example, my dad's in sales, right? And my dad's philosophy has always been, if I'm writing the sales and I'm doing the numbers, then how does it matter how I get there? I'm not saying you're dishonest. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying that I've got my methods. I've got my strategies. I've got my plans. And if I implement it and it works, who cares?
So, because can you maybe explain? Because I know what you mean by hitting budget.
Yeah.
But what do you mean by writing sales and the way you did it? Like,
so basically, they had their way of sales. So basically, their way
of promoting.
Of promoting and writing and bringing in clients, right? So their strategy was that this is your diary. This is how much calls you must do. This is how much people you must talk to, right? And you must hit this because if you hit this, you'll get the sales. But my thing was, I'm hitting the sales. I don't care about that. You brought me to do sales. So if I'm making sales, but now you want me to call, bro, you want me to call 30 people a day. You want me to call 30 people a day. You want me to do 10 service calls a day. You want me to get 10 referrals a day.
Why?
And till this day, no one could answer that question.
Oh,
till this day.
So.
And I asked that question. I said, why? They said, because you get paid a basic because of basic activity. I said, activity? But I just grade 6. What is this, bro?
The box.
Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what upset me because I just wanted to write sales. I enjoy sales. I love sales. When I'm on that floor, I'm talking to clients, I'm networking with clients. I'm not going to log each and every discussion into my book. I'm not going to, every referral that I get, I'm not going to write every referral into my book. Do you know what I mean? If I'm calling people or talking to people, I'm not going to get every single interaction in my book. Who cares about that? If I'm writing sales, like you brought me there to do, I'm writing sales, and I ask you, why must I do this? And you can't tell me why. Clearly, there's no necessary reason as to why I must do it. So you, bruh, I'm getting heated now, bro. But that is why, one of the biggest reasons why I left. Because as much as I enjoyed sales, they killed it for me, man. When I was working there, I love sales. I love it. Like, I get to do sales now for myself, and one of the biggest things I've learned is Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs basically said, you mustn't hire people to tell them what to do. Hire people so that they can tell you what to do. Because if I'm working as a staff member and I'm giving you an idea, you're a manager, I'm giving you an idea or whatever, right? Take it into consideration. But till this day, and that's the thing, managers, bosses, most companies, 90% of companies, they have this tendency to when an employee shows some sort of initiative, they tend to put it down. Not the boss, the managers. Because the managers don't want you to become good enough to take their positions. That's the thing.
But I mean that is in the 48 laws of power, bro. It literally, it's one of the laws.
Do you understand what I mean?
You don't wanna outshine the master.
You see what I mean?
As they say. So it's a general thing. It's a human insecurity. It's a human. It's just one of those things, bro. It's unfortunate, and I wish more people maybe had a unity and a teamwork, or more. I don't know what's the word, but diverse, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
Mindset when it came to business and stuff like that, because I do think like if you hire people for a certain job, that's because you trust them.
Yes.
Or why else are you gonna ask for a CV? Why else are you gonna ask for experience as well?
Yes.
Because you trust them. But now why? It's whack. It's whack. So you say now you use it on your own business.
Now I use it on my own business. You see, the thing is, what I've noticed with a lot of institutions is that they tend to discourage initiative. If you come with initiative, they tend to discourage that. They tend to put it down. Like, why are you thinking out the box? You shouldn't be thinking out of the box. You should just be doing what we tell you. I hate that. You can't hire me and then expect me to have a slave mindset. You understand what I mean? Like, you can't hire me and expect me to just listen. If you tell me to jump how high, and then when it doesn't work, you blame me.
That's true. That's true, because if out of those 30 calls you don't make budget, and then it's your fault.
And then it's my fault. But it's like, I'm telling you that this is not working. You know what I mean? And then the more they press me on activity, you must do activity, the more my sales was doing this. But then there was 1 month where I said, hey, Sekwana. And I focused on my sales, bro. And I remember there was 1 month when I did really bad. Yes, sir, bro, listening to me, talking bad, good. But the month was going bad, right? So basically I was like, my budget was like just over 7 grand, right? And it was the third. Now you must remember, we've got a week. I had a week to write budget, right? And for 3 weeks, I only wrote like just over 1,000 rands worth of sales. So I still needed to write 6,000 rands worth of sales, over 6,000 rands worth of sales. Guess what happened? The manager came to me. He said to me, nah, you're going to miss. There's no way. You told me now you're going to miss. But then you forgot. I'm Joshua Dietloff. Yeah, let's go, bro. Yes, sir, bro. That month was crazy, bro. I remember I wrote 6,000 rand in a week. 6,000 rands worth of sales in a week, bro. I remember we were standing in Cape Gate, eh? People was coming past, bro. I was on my A game, bro. I was flowing like a hot knife through butter. Bro, the people was like walking past. I would say, hey guys, you want to join the gym? Nah, I'm good, thanks. Why not? Wait, whoa, come here, man. And people just loved the energy, man. People came to me. I spoke to them. I related with them. Signed them up for the gym, bro. I saw on their statuses, a lot of them are still gymming today. Yeah. But my point is that, man, in a week, I wrote over 6,000 rands worth of business. And then I remember the next month, I told one of the managers, I said, nah, what do I need to do to become a manager? Keep in mind, I'm not saying I'm going to become a manager tomorrow. But what do I need to do, starting now, to become a manager? And then he laughed at me. And that's when I saw him home, I said, nah, Dad, I'm done.
That's when you said, that's
when I said, nah, I'm done. How can I'm doing that good? Like, bro, listen, I'm technically still a rookie in a senior position. I'm doing that good. And then when I ask you, what do I need to do?
Because you were in for like less than a year?
I was there for less than a year. Yeah. But my question was, what do I need to do for them? I don't care about time. If I'm coming to you and I'm telling you, what do I need to do to become a manager? Tell me what I need to do and I'll do it. It's a challenge, man. I want the challenge. So I will write whatever I need to write starting now to become a manager. But when I asked him that, then he laughed at me and told me, you think nothing of me, man. So I'm going to focus and use my potential and use my energy on myself and on my own business.
So what do you have going now? What's going on now?
With my business?
No, because obviously we haven't spoken about that yet. What do you have going now?
So my business is woodworking. I do carpentry. It aligns beautifully with my passion. I have a really love interest for interior designing, making things out of wood. You know, I've always had this artistic type of mindset. You know what I mean? Very creative, that's the word. And I started off small. So I started off making like hexagons and things like that for individuals. And then it started expanding, you know, people started coming to me with ideas, people started coming to me with concepts. Can you do this? And I'll say, yes, I can do this. And then I would do it. You know what I mean? I'm actually offended as to those of you who have come to me and say, can you do this? I can do anything. So basically, I do things like, for example, boma tops. So people that have bomas and things like that, if you want to convert it into a table when you're not using it, I do tops for that. I'm actually busy with that project right now. I do podiums. I just had a client now in Claremont, a real estate company named Gillette. They had an auction event and they needed a podium. She contacted me. She said, "Hi Joshua, I need a podium designed and manufactured." She literally just sent me the picture, and she said to me, "We need it done." And I had one day to do the job because they had the auction next day, and nobody could do it in that short period of time. It's too short. But then they came to Josh, the man, and I remember I worked straight through the night. Literally, I never slept at all that night. I'm dead serious. Like, no sleep. Not even sitting down. And guess what happened the next day? I delivered that podium to them just as they wanted. Bob's your uncle. I've had other projects as well. A guy came to me, engineer's desk. So it's a standing draft desk. Those of you who follows me have seen it on my page. It's basically a desk that you can lift, tilt, right, and drop all those different things. Yeah. And he came to me with the concept. All he asked me was, "Can you do this?" Once again, very offensive. And I made it just like that, bro. I made it, finished it within a week. I delivered it, put it together, and everything. He still got the desk today. And the beautiful thing, like with my clients, is all my clients, I'm going to be honest with you, 90% of my clients are happy. You're never going to satisfy all of them. I've never had a complaint because all the complaints that I've had, I've always dealt with. So if a client comes to me and says, "Joshua, one of the hexagons that you manufactured for me, for example, is too good," then I'll make one that's a little bit worse. You know what I mean? For example, a client messaged me yesterday. She said a hexagon that she bought from some other supplier because they were a little bit cheaper than me. She bought the hexagon from them, and guess what happened?
It broke.
Bang! She phoned me yesterday. "Joshua, please advise the hexagon." Sorry, I'm so sorry. She basically contacted me. She said, "Joshua, the hexagon I bought from this guy broke. Is there anything you can do to help?" So I said, "Okay, no problem." So I must go collect the hexagon tomorrow, fix it up. So I'm going to reinforce it basically. My hexagons are reinforced. Gives it a lot more strength. You can drop it, let it fall. It doesn't matter. It won't break. And obviously I do other projects as well, but my company is centered around, for example, you as the client. What do you want? What do you want to have manufactured? Come to me, I'll manufacture it. I do have a team on retainer. So obviously the bigger the project, the bigger the team. But most of the projects I'm able to do myself with enough time. And it doesn't matter how crazy it may seem, whether it's a table, whether it's flipping chairs, whether it's a podium, table. I said table already. But anything, literally anything that you want done, whether it's shelving, all those things. I cater to that audience, like young entrepreneurs especially, with their businesses. Sometimes they need certain things that cost a little bit too much money. They come to me and they ask me, "Joshua, can you manufacture this for me?" And I get it done for them, save them a lot of money. And at the same time, I deliver the same quality. Why must you choose me? Well, keep in mind, I'm young. I have a reputation to make for myself. I have a name to make for myself. I don't have a reason to disappoint clients. And at the same time, I love what I do. And as long as you love what you do, you're going to make a success of it. You know what I mean? So my business is based on carpentry, enhancing your room, enhancing your business, enhancing your style, whatever it is, with woodworking. If it's gifts, especially December that's coming up now, contact me and I'll see what I can do to help you.
So what gave you that idea?
The woodworking.
Because it's very outside the box, I'd say.
Niche-based. Yeah. So...
No, I mean outside the box as in like, it's not something that you see people like do a lot.
Yeah. So woodworking is one of those things where it's a talent that you can over time get better at. But for me, it has always been something that I was good at. Like woodworking. So my niche in woodworking is my measurements. I have a knack for getting the measurements right to the millimeter. And it's always just been a gift. And it started off small. People coming to me with precise work, like I said, with the hexagons. And people started coming to me. I posted the hexagons and then I got another order. And then after that, I got another order after I did the table and I got another order. And I said to myself, but wait, I can actually make a business out of this if I market and advertise correctly. And then I started. And then I started off with small. And I started in networking with individuals to try and get ideas of how I can market this and whether it will actually be beneficial. And slowly but surely, the chart started going up. And I started marketing, started advertising, and then I said to myself, but wait a minute, there is a market for this. And the market for woodworking is exactly the same as the market for Instagram and Facebook. What do I mean? So, just give me a second. So, the market for woodworking is not necessarily target-based. It's very difficult to nail it down to target, depending on what you're selling. But with me and what I'm doing, it's very much based on what you want. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter how young you are. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter what you want to do. You come to me and you say, I want this done. You know what I mean? And after that, it just grew. Just started growing and there we go.
So how are you able to, obviously, in the beginning phase, I don't know, was it difficult?
Of course.
The entry? How was that?
Nah, all I can say is that when I went out with my friends, I could never afford like a burger or like a cool drink or anything like that. And it's one of those things where I never had a cent to my name, so it was really difficult. Like it was hard because you must remember, I'm building something out of nothing. Literally, I'm building something. Most people like get a job and then you work for a company that already has an established name. I need to establish a name for myself. I need to make a name for myself. I'm 22 years old. I'm young. You know what I mean? I've only got such a big network. And in the beginning, it was tough, bro. Like I owed some people money and things like that I couldn't pay it. You know what I mean? And it's like I didn't want to be that person who had debt and things like that. But those are like the small little things. Like for example, at home, like I want to help out around the house, but I can't because I left my job. I'm busy starting my own business. It's getting tough. I don't have money. I can't help out. You know what I mean? And when I say help out, I'm talking about like, bruh, when I was working at Zone, I used to like buy my mom flowers. And the only reason I used to do that was because you must remember, one day your parents are not going to be here anymore. And as long as they're still alive, you kind of want to show them as much love as you can. You know what I mean? Because you want them to know that like I appreciate everything that you do for me, you know? And like working with a business and things like that, I was literally just somebody who was trying. Like I would wake up, I would go work, and I would just try. Wake up, work and try. Wake up, work and try. No results. Wake up, work and try. No results. And kind of just keep going, and it's tough, bro, because you can't really do anything that you want to do. Can't go out, can't take the car and, you know, take a drive, for example, or go out. It's small things like that, you know, that literally I said this morning, I said to my sister, I said, yeah, I'm sick of looking at that workshop wall. Yo, bro, wake up, go to the workshop, and I'm sitting and I'm working, or like I'll send emails. And that's one of the things that I started doing, you know, but we will get to that. You know, but it is tough. It really is tough. But there's a reason why not everybody just goes out and starts a business. Because if it was easy, everybody would be doing it.
That's the thing. And the funny enough, oftentimes the people that are good at doing it make it look easy. You know, because I for instance, I know your journey. A lot of people would look at it and be like, you made it look easy.
Yeah.
Like, from the outside. From the outside, it looked like it was easy. And well, obviously, I don't know what people think about, you know, Iron Gorilla and, you know, this podcast and everything, but this wasn't easy. You know, we alluded to us even doing one in the past, doing a podcast in the past. You know, I don't know if you'd like, if I'm allowed to say the other ventures that you had in the past.
Which other ventures?
Manifesto?
Yes. I'm still busy with that, by the way.
I'm still busy with
busy with that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
I've got a couple of clothes and things. Sorry to cut you off. I do have a couple of like clothes and things like that. I've got to speak English now. But I got a couple of things that I designed and manufactured, actually shirts and things like that. And also I've got a lot of designs. The only thing is like that I'm busy with now is planning and cash flow. So once the cash flow is in order and everything is up and running and I'm able to finance, you know, get a website done and things like that, then, bro, I'm going to move forward with that. But everything is still in the works. All those things that people saw me doing, I'm still busy with it, bro. Don't think I stopped. I'm still busy with it, and I'm still busy moving forward with it. It's just that if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. And it's not, but that's the purpose of not giving up.
See, and that's the thing. So that's exactly what I mean. You know, I also, you know, had other things that I planned and I thought about, and somehow they manifested, or they're starting to manifest now in the future.
Yeah.
Or not in the future, present, and I believe they will in the future as well, you know. Can we actually talk about Manifesto?
Yeah.
I think there's something about that name.
Yeah, I sat to that name, bro. The logo, everything. So Manifesto is a company that I thought about where I've got a lot of ideas and things like that, where with clothes, people tend to design jumpsuits and things like that without actually adding any sense of practicality to it other than the pockets. And Manifesto is based around formal wear. So formal clothes with a touch of practicality. So literally, I want to design a suit that you can go hiking in. You know what I mean?
Things like that. It's like, it's crazy, but it's going to happen. And I'm busy with it. And what went wrong with me and Manifesto was I bit off a little bit more than I could chew. But at the same time, it's a part of the process. You know what I mean? However, I do genuinely plan to move forward with it because, like you said, man, there's something about that name, that brand, that logo. It's just like, people have to see it, man. Like people just, you have to see it. Oh my gosh.
Definitely.
Like, yeah, it's nice.
You know, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
That would be amazing, man.
True.
But anyway, in closing, is there anything that you'd like to share that
are we done?
going on at the moment?
If there's anything that I want to?
That you'd like to share, maybe, you know, some thoughts, last topic that we want to talk about. I believe we covered most of the things. Maybe something you'd like to promote. Obviously, your website or your
my woodworking business. I don't have a website yet, but my woodworking business.
Your social medias will be
definitely
on the description.
Content Pierre.
Check it out, definitely. Yeah. We will have maybe after this video, stay tuned. I'll have like a slideshow showing his businesses.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Artworks that you've done. And yeah, man. It's been a really good conversation with you. So
for sure.
This morning, and I hope it in the future we can have another conversation and hopefully collab again in the future, man, bro. Definitely.
Definitely looking forward to it, man.
Definitely.
We're gonna definitely do it. Don't worry. Okay, cool, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Is that everything on your side?
Everything on my side.
On your side?
There's one message that I can give to the audience. It's that whatever it is that you want to do, I now said this in the beginning and I'm gonna say it again. Whatever you want to do, whatever you want to accomplish, make sure it's big, man. Aim for the stars, bro. Aim for the stars. Touch the moon. Bob's your uncle.
Aim for the stars. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Cool.
If you liked the video, please like, comment, share, subscribe. If you enjoy this podcast, please comment down below any value that you might have gotten. And, you know, if there's anybody that you'd like us to interview or have on you in the future, doesn't matter how big or small the impact has been in your community and in your life, please comment down below. Let us know. I've been Bongi, and this is
Joshua.
This is the Iron Gorilla Podcast. Thank you for tuning in.
100%.